Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop! Woohoo!
Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy, so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1003769, $395 per month, lease for 36 months with proof credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 due, signing, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See delivery details.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA fighters on Saturday, December 7th with Violence Fight League 2 at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now is the perfect time to go, with Nebraska football in between the regular season and a bowl game. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CR-FR Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CR-F Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CR-F 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
For those fans,
he's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker in one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into the Dump Punt Tower. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Good morning, Pierson-El in studio. To my left, you guys can join in. Use the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. You can put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. We do got NFL on the brick and mortar, so you have to use the streams or the ticket app. We got Rams, 49ers, Rams on the road, I believe, for this one. Playing at the 49ers. 49ers 6-7, Rams 7-6. Thursday. Start off the way we always do. Let's talk about this NFL game before we get going here. Who you got? 49ers, Rams. 49ers still a little bit beat up on the injury report. Rams definitely in the mix, trying to finish the season strong here so we can make that playoff run.
I think the Rams are kind of hot right now.
They're definitely hot right now. But the 49ers might have just got hot finally.
The 49ers just has their number. So I'm going 49ers. Is it in LA or is it
in San Francisco?
Oh yeah, 49ers.
I got the 49ers as well. I know it's the Chicago Bears, but that offense, they could have played quite a few teams last week. That offense is rolling finally. And when you get guys like Juwan Jennings, like despite the injuries in the wide receiver core that can step up and really all year, Jennings has kind of been that guy. I think someone's gonna pay him.
He's been a
staple for them with all the injuries this year. I mean, he's had multiple games with high receiving yards, multiple touchdowns. I mean, just last week he had 2 touchdowns and I think close to 100 yards.
The question is, I don't remember. I don't know if a lot of people remember. I think his name was Kendrick Bourne. He played. He was there and then left there for a payday in New England. Just hasn't been the same. Does Jennings kind of do the same thing and leave for more pay, or do you stay there and kind of milk that well dry?
I think he'd probably do move because I think he's good enough.
If it's enough money, I'm out of there.
Yeah, I think if it's enough money, and I think he is good enough, and he's got enough on film where you can be given a larger role. And when you're with the 49ers, as soon as the guys get healthy,
he can be a number 2.
Yeah.
He can be a strong 2 anywhere.
That's what I'm thinking, and I think if you're him, that's probably the maneuver you make. Because when the 49ers get healthy again, maybe they look at you and sign you on there, but I'd imagine he'll have to take a back seat again.
I mean, you got Pierson-El there. You got Ayuk that they just paid.
Yep.
Debo, like it's a lot of pieces there. That's like,
and they're being paid. Like the contracts are up. So
it's the writing's kind of on the wall. So he's going out with a bang at least.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the good part, right? Like hell of a year with all the injuries for you to step in there, and at least this way you can go ahead and there's a lot of teams that would love to have Jennings on their team right now. Panthers included. Speaking of that, though, we'll leave off on the Panthers. We'll leave them alone for now. Let's talk about Husker football. We do have the 2025 season now. And I know it's really early, but I do kind of want to take a look at it because not a lot of juggernauts on it, but it's just consistently, I mean, it's just a Big Ten schedule at its finest. And I want to get your thoughts on it because, well, we kind of know some of the guys, like we'll have Dylan Raiola, it seems like he's going to be back. We know which guys are hitting the portal here. We know who our DC is. We got John Butler. We got Braden, the Chiefs defensive line coordinator. We know they got Phil Snow, associate head coach. So we got all these coaches getting plugged in here. We'll see what the bowl game looks like, Pinstripe Bowl versus Boston College, but we can kind of look ahead here. So I'll just run it off to you, and I'll see if any of these really catch your ear first off. So you got Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian, Michigan, Michigan State, Maryland, Minnesota, Northwestern, USC, UCLA, Penn State, Iowa. Tough 2-game stretch to end the year there with Penn State and Iowa back to back. And on the road versus Penn State, obviously at home versus Iowa. What do you make of that schedule? Just on the first year.
Honestly, like off of first glance, if there are more than probably 3 losses, I'm pissed probably.
Penn State.
And
yeah,
and, like
I say that.
I say that, just the only thing that makes me nervous is just the new look on defense.
Well, John Butler's still going to be running with that 3-3-5.
That's fine, but
which is why I think they probably kept it in house.
But still, like it's not Tony.
No.
So we have to, we have to see. Excuse me. We have to see how things go, how he calls things, how his adjustments are, how his preparation of getting kids ready and everything like that. We know what to expect coming from Tony, and not to say, oh, you're not. I just don't know. I'm confident. I feel like he will have things ready and everything like that, and everybody's going to compare him to Tony right off the bat, which I'm not. As long as it's still the same quality of type of defense, or shades better, hopefully, and everything like that, I'm fine and cool with it. But I don't know what it looks like. So out there, and even in the spring game, they won't call anything too crazy.
No, it's always vanilla.
So and not only with that, but you have a lot of key pieces that are gone. So it's not just a Tony thing. It's you lose a few heartbeats of that defense, and you have to have kids to step in and step up. And we don't know exactly what the roster is going to look like. We don't know exactly what they're going into the portal for on offense or defense and everything like that. I know what Dana's going to be getting. I know what's coming from that. I mean, in 2 weeks,
looks better.
The guy did what he did, so I know what to expect from him. I can kind of anticipate that. So I know we're going to be able to score. Not going to have an issue. I know we're going to set up the run game and everything like that. The offensive line, regardless of who's in there and whatnot, they're going to be fine. We have weapons, and we will continue to build, more weapons. Fine and dandy. The defense is just the biggest question mark. And even if it is a step back, hopefully it's not, a fall from grace to where
it could take a small step back and we'd still win a lot of ball games. As long as it's not, like you said, a fall from grace.
But I think just first glance of looking at things, I think anything more than 3 losses, I might be a little aggravated.
Yeah. Well, because when you get past 3 losses, like you're really picking some upsets, because like Penn State is probably the one that everybody circles. Hell, like you can even pick Iowa. Then from there, I mean, you're looking at USC, UCLA, Northwestern, Minnesota, Maryland, Michigan State, Michigan, maybe Cincinnati. Like I kind of doubt that one though. That one will be Lucas Oil Stadium though.
I mean, even Michigan. Michigan is not.
They're not the Michigan.
They're not what Harbaugh. I know they paying kids crazy with NIL and everything like that, and they're gonna look different. And I understand. They're typically prepared. I think that's gonna be a big game, but as of right now, that might be a toss up.
I think it is a toss up. Michigan doesn't.
They don't really scare me.
Yeah, we almost beat Ohio State though.
I'm like, okay, that's the first Big Ten game. Things are going to be rolling and everything like that. So
And there'll be some surprises too, right? Like we'll roll into next year and like we'll be like Maryland's what, they're 8-2. How do they? And there'll be some games that are a lot tougher in real time than it was hindsight.
Exactly. You'll have the teams that'll not maybe have the success that Indiana has, but are having a good year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and who knows? Like Northwestern, they got the new stadium finally next year. Like maybe they can finally turn a corner. Like
I mean, it might be one of those situations to where Northwestern actually might be a good place to go because it's open and it's going to be a lot of kids in the portal, so they might have good talent and go get good talent just because it's oversaturated and the people that they kind of have there aren't cutting it enough. Like they might just be like, you know what, to hell with it, and we're gonna go get some quality talent guys, and we'll cover the grade stuff. Like I mean, some of those schools might do that.
Well, it's a good point, right? Because with 105, like we're gonna see a more balanced, probably the most balanced college football in a while. Just because
you say that,
you would hope so, right? Well,
you say that.
Maybe not. Some coaches are definitely gonna be better at this than others, so it's not gonna be just perfectly even.
No.
But there are gonna be schools like if you are a Northwestern, like it is gonna be an overly saturated transfer portal. You can make a jump.
Is money a problem for Northwestern? Probably not. Do people really care about the football stuff as maybe their law program or something like that? Probably not.
Yeah.
But at some point in time, I mean, they just invested so much money into that stadium. So do you think they care a little bit more, and they might, all right, look, do this for these players, go out and get
Oh yeah, there's a few lawyers that graduated from Northwestern that are pumping some money into that football program.
You know what I mean? So they could go out there and be like, you know what, scratch the nice guy, go get the killer. We want him. We don't care. Like, go get the 4-star that got kicked out of that school. We'll love him. So what?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll put him through shop class.
You know what I mean?
Get him his grades.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of fun. And I will say though, looking at the schedule, the scary part is when you get a schedule like this is when you look at it right now, there's just such a chance of disappointment. Because if you go on the flip side of it, we've looked at Wisconsin's schedule before and what it looks like next year. And just for the sake of it, we'll pull it up right now. But Wisconsin football, like that's one where if they don't have a fantastic season, it's a little bit of leeway for Luke Fickell. Because on that, like Alabama would have a hard time with that schedule.
Brutal.
I want to pull it up because it is. I think strength of schedule wise, it's by far
one of the harder schedules in the Big Ten.
And when you have situations like that, like for Nebraska, because it's such an easy schedule, like quote unquote easy as of now, we'll see what it looks like ahead of time. You're going to be expected to win, to your point, at like 8 games. Because otherwise you're circling a loss to UCLA again. You're circling a loss to a Northwestern, USC, Minnesota, Michigan State, teams that you're probably going to be favored to beat. But on the flip side, if you're Wisconsin, my oh my, Luke Fickell's going to get a little bit of grace with this.
You would think that.
Yeah. So they got Miami, Ohio.
You say that and look, and who was the guy before he got there? Paul, what's his last name? Christ?
For Wisconsin Badgers?
Yeah.
Yeah, Christie. Am I saying that right now? Now you got me twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, he had a short release despite everything.
And he was winning. Mm-hmm. And that was the Wisconsin way. They were on top, RBU and everything. One bad season, and he was out of there after everything he done.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear, they'll give him some leeway. No, he'll be booted out of town.
They better, because my God. Let's go through it. Miami, Ohio, Middle Tennessee. Okay, first 2 layup games. Yeah, that's normal. But then you get Alabama.
Yikes.
And it's in Alabama, so you're going all the way to Alabama for that one. Maryland, Michigan. Okay, 2 quote-unquote easy games. Michigan, you never know. It's but in Michigan.
You say Maryland, Maryland also is again one of those.
I'm calling them easy because when we get to the rest of these teams,
they're like, but early in the season, like they're like SC. They play good early on. Maryland starts on fire and for whatever reason kind of like fizzles out. So if you catch Maryland at the wrong time or the right time for them, like they could give you a headache. And early in the season like that, that's not I wouldn't say it's a cakewalk. Like that's for what's struggling Wisconsin. If you don't got no quarterback, if that situation not figured out, Maryland can, put it to you. So I wouldn't say that's an easy game.
No, and when I say easy, like in reality, just based on what Wisconsin did this year, like I think it'll probably be a coin toss when you're picking those teams. But you are right. Like that has been the Terrapins' tradition as of late. scary early, fade out. Very kind of like Nebraska, but Nebraska sprinkles in losses early and then maxes out come November. Unfortunately, this year enough to get 6, but so I call them, quote unquote, easier games, but they're still going to be a toss up if they win it or not. So you're hoping to be 2-0 after Miami, Ohio, and then Middle Tennessee, then Alabama. Probably a loss right there. Maryland, good chance you take a loss because Maryland's good early season. Michigan, you just don't want to cross them out. So there's a chance that they're 2-2, but then it gets worse. Then you're Iowa at home.
Ouch.
Ohio State at home.
Ouch.
On the road to Oregon.
Ooh.
Washington at home.
That's a cakewalk.
Indiana didn't seem to be so bad.
Yeah.
Bit of a problem now. On the road at Indiana.
Good luck.
Then you're at home for Illinois, and then you're on the road for Minnesota. That early stretch is going to kill that confidence of that locker room.
God.
You're talking about.
That's not easy at all.
I just think this could kill them right here. If you lose to Alabama, then you pick one of those. You lose to Michigan or Maryland. You hope to pick yourselves up, but then you're probably going to go on a 1, 2, 3 game losing streak unless you can figure out a way to beat Iowa. And then you're picking yourself up against Washington, hopefully. But then you got Kurt Cignetti, Indiana.
And spanking.
And then another loss. And then it's like, okay, let's try to pick ourselves up here. Then you got Minnesota. Say what you will about them. PJ Fleck has that team playing to the last second every game.
He's a damn good coach.
I think he is. I think Minnesota, it's so weird how I've turned around on PJ Fleck.
Hey, you were saying he was on a hot seat, and I'm like, I don't know. And beat SC and back on top of the world.
Yeah, good for him, though.
Man,
it's weird. I used to really hate Minnesota. It was after that COVID game because their entire offensive line was out with COVID, and they just bullied us. And I took that personally, but enough times been moved on here. And it was also just the whole Tanner Morgan looking just like PJ Fleck. It was just that whole team, Minnesota year, was just a weird one. And I think Tanner Morgan was there for 6 years at least. He was their quarterback for a long time. And when you just see faces long enough,
it's like, all right,
you get tired.
How do you still have eligibility?
Exactly. And that's how
Cam Rising with Utah.
Yep.
The guy with Miami.
Yeah. 9th year. It was
I wish. How many master's degrees do you have?
The sad part would be like you just walk out with a bachelor's. Like you were there for 9 years, dude, and you got a 4-year degree. Like, what are we doing?
I might go get a PhD.
Honestly,
9 years?
You better have some paperwork to show, like some degrees, because your NFL stock took a hit because you spent 9 years at the college level.
I mean, do people like that still? Do you actually look at them as draft, like getting drafted
late in the draft? Depends on the position.
No injuries, absolutely not.
It's like if he's a kicker, I'm talking.
Oh,
like there's a few positions. Otherwise, you're definitely sliding down the stock. I mean, the kicker is one of the few because you can be 40. I mean, what was the Green Bay Packers kicker for the longest time? 40-year-old, great hair. I mean, he was just bombing them up into his 40s. Doesn't matter. It's just one of those things where you're not going to waste a draft pick that late either on a kicker, though.
No.
We'll
just sign you after the team and hey, come on in.
Yeah, but that's the schedule for Wisconsin. And just to kind of put this all together here, as we got about 5 minutes here on this first segment, like I hope they should give Luke Fickell a little bit of time because that schedule again, I don't care. You are
college football. They're not.
And then you look at Nebraska. That's kind of the poison. I shouldn't say poison. The potential trap of having an easier schedule is like you lose games. That fan base is getting hot pretty quick on what the hell's going on here, and you would know all too well. There's been some games where the fan base is probably a little louder than normal.
More than a little. And boisterous on internet.
Yeah, at least. Well, no, you were in there. You're probably getting a few DMs from time to time. Do you ever get it from opposing fan bases?
A few times here and there.
What was the craziest thing?
It's something that Iowa probably like one of their accounts or something that says something.
Iowa seems to do that a lot. Chance of
it wasn't anything crazy or whatnot. I typically had better games or solid games against.
You usually did play pretty good against Iowa
opponents and whatnot. So it wasn't. I don't want to say poking the bear type situations, but it was never ill will or anything like that. Like I said, I think Iowa said. I think the one year I said something about like Iowa, who really likes Iowa or something like that. I think that like comment or something like that blew up
I think I remember that.
And
was that a press conference?
Yeah,
yeah, I did.
But I mean, like everybody laughed and like everybody got it.
Yeah.
And so, but other than that, I mean, that was like really it.
Man, I forgot about that. That was a good soundbite. I should we should put that one for the intro of the show, just because I do remember that caught some attention, and you see that every year when you get an Iowa or Colorado game. Who was the player this year for the Huskers that said a comment basically saying I'd take Dylan Rail over Shedeur Sanders any day, and he was right for that game. Dylan definitely had the better game of the two. Shedeur was struggling,
seeing lights.
But yeah, that stuff was just bulletin board material for the opposing fan base, and Colorado was really good at picking that stuff up. Iowa, not so much the fans and the players, but like the fan base. Or excuse me, not so much the coaches and the players, but the fan base uses that more. I've noticed. You'll never see Kirk kind of focus on that stuff.
They have some. They're bored out there. Like I mean, we have it a little bit better here, but
a lot better.
I mean, you got to do something. So I mean, why not? Why not make some hay? I mean, it is what it is. Everybody has their own niche with things or whatnot. So I mean, it's small motivation. It makes the game fun.
Yeah, absolutely does. Let's see here. We'll throw it to break now because on the other side, I want to keep talking college football here, and I want to just think about some ideas for the college football playoffs because it's clearly still flawed. Like we've talked about it enough, so I want to actually start thinking about some solutions here because if like you're Oregon, that's just not the way it should be. To where you're drawing either Ohio State or Tennessee, and your most likely reward is Texas if you win.
The committee does not like Oregon, apparently.
Do you think
they want to? I think they want to make an example of the Big Ten.
Like, did it seem like somewhat set up to get Georgia in there, or do you think it's just like that's how it goes because it's such a crapshoot that when they just start putting the numbers down, that's how the chips fall?
I mean, when Georgia got to the SEC championship, you knew, like, regardless, you knew that what it was. You knew the top teams in the SEC for sure were going to be there. So I don't think it was any way purposely because I think it's an easier schedule for Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put anybody else on that side over there where Georgia is at, you're like, ooh, like those are a good matchup. I think Georgia is just so much of a juggernaut or the new age Alabama to where it's like you're probably not betting against them.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
good point.
It's if you put Texas over there, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you put Penn State over there, you're like, I don't know. Even with Oregon over there, you're like, ooh, Notre Dame or Indiana playing that next game, that'll be a good matchup. But because it's Georgia right there, you're kind of lowering the standard of the other two teams. It's just like, you're putting Georgia automatically on the pedestal, and that's not Georgia's fault or anything like that. I mean, that's not the committee's fault. Like Georgia had to go somewhere.
And it's also part of the reward. Like you've won a lot in the past and you still have that same head coach. So I get that bias, and that bias
you beat the number one team
should be there to a degree because like you've won it a lot. You clearly are a good coach. So I think like some of that bias is fine. But yeah, to your point, like it's just, it just feels so totally set up for Georgia. And I don't think it's intentional, but like, just again, to be there, if you're Oregon,
the only way to kind of knock that off or see that is if you give Georgia a strong SEC opponent early on. So if Tennessee would have been over that and we would have seen Tennessee and Georgia before, moving around and everything like that, to where at least, whatever team coming out of that would have been more hurt or, a little bit dinged up, you could probably say, that might make things, a little bit more fair for everybody else.
Yeah.
But the SEC is not going to pin. They want the best chance to win the whole thing. So that's why you see the three teams kind of separated out against, the best of the best. And all right, we're going to see, which is better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think, that Tennessee game will be as easy as I thought it was because you got them Tennessee boys going up to Ohio and it's cold. So we're going to see how some of them Southern guys take that northern cold because it's I get bigger ball and everything like that, but you cold and you get you get hit so many times. It's like, all right, you can knock the fight out of a dog.
Yeah, and Ohio State the one thing that Ohio State's always done well is they've been like probably the most versatile threat. Like they can bully you or they can air it. Like they're very versatile where they can go play a team like Colorado who wants to get in a shootout, or they can play a team like Georgia who's going to try to bully you in the line of scrimmage. Just not Michigan. I cannot tell you what it is about Michigan.
They got that number.
They really do. But yeah, we'll talk about that some more. But yeah, just always intriguing because I think Oregon would be willing to trade spots with any of those other sides. I mean, if you're Oregon, would you rather? You'd much rather be on. Well, maybe the Texas one's a little tough.
I think Texas is just again the same effect with when you look at Texas. As long as it ain't Georgia, I mean, Texas is gonna blow you out.
Yeah, because I guess if you're Oregon, like if you want to switch spots with Arizona State, that would be tough because you might feel more nervous about having to play Texas than Ohio State or Tennessee.
I mean, that type of game, Arizona State and Oregon, I think that game will favor Oregon. Like, Arizona State is physical; they're fine and whatnot. Just in those type of games,
yeah,
against Oregon, they like with Oregon, you kind of have to bully Oregon.
You do,
and Tennessee if Tennessee makes it out of that, Tennessee will definitely play that ball. Then after the first round, you pretty much take the elements out of the game. They all go to pretty much domes. So now it's back to good weather football, and again it'll be, can Oregon survive the heavy blows that a SEC team can deal out? Because don't get me, Ohio State's good, but they don't have a strong defense. Their defense isn't the defense,
and their run game isn't as good this year.
So they want to be in the shootout. If they get in the shootout, that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon kind of wants that at the same too. They have a stronger defense, and they make people play a lot quicker. But Tennessee plays in the SEC. That type of style ball isn't foreign to them, but you also have to account for their physicality. And I'm not so sure if Oregon gets punched in the stomach repeatedly over and over and over again, are they going to be able to stand up?
Yeah, well, against Wisconsin, they didn't really stand up. They just didn't need to, because Wisconsin didn't have quite enough offense.
Wisconsin ain't Tennessee.
No.
Tennessee got dogs on both sides of the football. They got people that can run with your best athlete, and they got people on their offense that can run past your best athlete.
Yeah, none of these teams make me feel super confident. And maybe we'll talk about more on the other side, but it's like, yeah, you can just go through this. This does feel like not necessarily a weak year of college football, but just a year where there isn't a team that is, no question, no doubt, like a good year for it to be expanded past 4 teams, because I don't think anybody has a good idea. Like, you could pick Texas, Georgia, Oregon. You can get cute with whoever the 4th one is there. But at the end of the day, all those teams that were being the honorable mentions, if we're still on the 14 playoff format, would, I think, all just have the same good argument about why they can go in there and win it. Because Georgia, early in the year, they almost was it Kentucky or it was Kentucky, nearly losing to Kentucky. Oregon, not too long ago with Wisconsin. Even if Alabama made it, they've been so spotty all year long. Penn State, it's just the James Franklin Penn State is always good enough to make the playoffs, probably not good enough to win it all, and I think that'll stay true this year. But we'll find out here. Well, we got through at the break. We're over a little bit on the first segment, but no worries here. We'll keep talking some more football, probably dive in to some Husker basketball as well, as they got to hopefully turn things around with the game versus Indiana this upcoming weekend here. So don't go anywhere. Don't Punt Hour with DeMornay Pierson-El.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy, so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1003769, $395 per month lease for 36 months with proof credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 to its signing, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See delivery details.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA fighters on Saturday, December 7th with Violence Fight League 2 at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now is the perfect time to go, with Nebraska football in between the regular season and a bowl game. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CRF-R Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CRF Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with the Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CRF 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com. ticketfm.com.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt Hour, second segment. DeMornay Pierson-El, the host, is always to my left. Harrison Arns, the one talking on the ones and twos. So if you guys want to join in, start our Amen text line. That is 402-464-5685. You can use the streams as well. All right, to continue this with college football, I do want to talk about the portal a little bit as well here, because you look at some of the years, I think last year alone, over 40% of players that hit the portal didn't even end up at another school. I'd love to know the research of what that looks like too. How many of those players that didn't end up at another school also just quit college altogether? I don't know what the number is on that, but
I'll probably say
it's probably high.
That'd be close to that 40 that got in,
which is not a good number.
No.
And now you also have the 105 roster limit. That's gonna send a lot of guys to the portal.
That's the part that I don't understand, that I'm kind of mad at. The kids that you say,
well, they should have layered it, right? We talked about that first time. Now, the first thought was like they should have year by year, like, okay, you know, from 145 now 135, just every year get rid of 10.
You know, because like I said, I mean, you're impacting kids' life. Like, you know, the sun came up, it was sunny today, tomorrow for the next year, you know, it might be gloomy in this kid's life because you literally snatched something away. So, and I know how they're going to play it. You know, you might get a semester, you might get, you know, maybe 2 semesters like in school at that school before it starts coming out of your pocket. And that's the part of, you know, the college thing to where I'm like, y'all doing it wrong. You're setting kids up for failure when you're supposed to be, you know, building the next generations, when, you know, you're honestly, you know, gatekeeping it.
Yeah, that's why I feel bad for the ones that I don't know what it looks like.
Is there any type of way to where you can pay half? They like the school can go half on paying for school? They're not going to do that. I know that for a fact. But
here's a $500 grant.
You know, it's just SOL for the kid, and that like that's not right.
That's why that's the part I'm surprised like hasn't been talked about a ton. Like what happens?
They're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, because like
it's the ugly truth. They don't want to talk about
scholarships revoked. You're not going to make the NIL money, so you better buckle up and just pay tuition like everybody else. And
pretty much,
football's over.
You came out here. You know, we wanted you. We brought you out here. Now we've determined that, you know, we don't want you pretty much at this university. You didn't decide, you know, to go, because there's going to be a percentage of kids that didn't decide to go into the transfer portal. You know, they were forced. So, and the contracts, you know, are your scholarships and everything like that are already written, you know, year to year. I think that's one thing that a lot of people like don't know, that like if you're in school and getting a scholarship each year, you had to renew that scholarship anyway. So that's where I'm like,
yeah, it's not gonna get renewed if
you know what I mean. So that's why I said like they'll get a semester, and then after that, you know, you went to the clearinghouse, you did everything you were supposed to do. You've been at the school for 2 semesters at least, or a semester at least, and yet after what 4 months maybe 3.5 months, like you got to figure out if college is really for you, because the one gift that you know got you to be on that level is now taken away, and it's not because you didn't want to.
Tell you what, makes schools like Northwestern a little more lucrative. Not really though, because that's expensive tuition if you get cut. That's the part. It's like that just sucks. Like, you know, you go into the coach's office, hey, we can't bring you, but have you heard of our business program here at the university? We can't give you a scholarship for it, but it's pretty good if you want to still go to school. Like that part.
Who wants to go to school and not like for the whole semester? The kid is going to be angry. Anybody would be angry.
That's what I'm saying. Like that is such a
like they're not
transition
even
for the athletes.
Again, I think
it's time to recalibrate their entire life.
The whole NIL movement has its pros and cons, but the negativity that will come from the outcomes and the other things that people don't talk about, whether that's money management, whether that's after college for the kids that don't, pursue the NFL and everything like that. You're on. I was funny because I was talking to a coach earlier today about it. Jamie Belt, one of the former strength coaches. I was talking to him about it. I was like, what happens to those kids who for the past 4 years, their life was pretty much structured out.
Mm-hmm.
The bad spending habits and everything like that were in there because you knew the money was coming back in and everything like that. The schools aren't jumping on it. They're not necessarily doing anything, because if they were doing something, they would be out talking about it, but they're not. So again, it's one of those ugly truths that they don't want to talk about. So add that to the list of the kids that you shot down from continuing their education because you or somebody deemed that they weren't good enough anymore to participate on a football team. Just imagine a 30 for 30 that's coming in the next 10 years.
It's I always go back to this with this NIL era. Like at some point, sooner or later, we're going to have that. The NFL version, I think it was just called bankrupt or bankruptcy.
Broke, whatever it was.
Broke, yeah. I mean, synonym for broke, bankrupt, pick it. Slap it onto the next one.
Because I mean, if
players
take the sports away from some of these kids and everything like that, where in college you kind of develop and figure out what you want to do after if football is not there. So you kind of get 4 years, and you probably know by your sophomore, junior year, okay, if football is really something to pursue after or not, at least you're walking away with a degree.
Yeah.
Now you taking that away 2 years earlier than what them realizing it and having to come to the understanding of accepting it and everything like that. And you want them to kind of be just thrown out back into society. What are they going to do after that?
Yeah. And then there's always like, that's the sad part with the walk-ons. It's like the guys that were like, you know what, like we're just going to put it all on the line. Like, even though I'm still paying
but
for
I mean,
school,
at least they're going to still be in school. They're going to school regardless.
Well, and they knew the plan, right?
Yeah.
Like they knew that's what they were going to do, but at least it also gave them the chance. It's like, I mean, there's been some phenomenal walk-ons that have carved their own way. And like, that's the tough part about the 105. You lose those guys, which the walk-ons, like to your point, like they're going to pay for school anyways. They know that's part of the deal, but it does suck. You lose that part.
They got into school period. So like for them, football was truly, extracurricular activity. Versus a student athlete who got recruited, which you came to the school to play football. Like that was, 1A, 1B.
We got Big Red Bass in here asking, so you can't have players on a team that aren't on scholarship. You can have nobody on scholarship. You can have 105 all be walk-ons. You can have, 60 of them be scholarship. The rest just purely NIL. You can do it any way you want now. The big part of why I think it's 105 is just to get some sort of cap on the NIL.
More, it's to allocate more money for NIL. That's all it is.
Yeah,
like the money has to come from somewhere. So something has to go. Something has to be cut.
Yeah,
and the crazy part is it's only with football.
Yep,
across the board. It's not basketball. It's not soccer. It's not tennis. It's not swimming. It's not gymnastics. It's only football.
Well, that's where the money is, and money drives everything. That's what we found every single time we get so far in sports.
The school,
that's what you realize.
The school makes so much money to where it's again, it's money is the root of all evil. Honestly.
Well, yeah. What drove conference realignment? Was it a better product of football, or was it money?
Money.
Exactly. A lot of people would argue you go back to the Big Eight. That looks beautiful today. Nebraska, Oklahoma, you get Colorado and Kansas State. You put that conference together and you're like, this makes regional sense and it's good football. But money just got in the way. Like it's just what happens. It's a product of college football. It makes the most money as a result. You get all the sharks, the agents, the TV deals, making a lot of decisions that aren't necessarily in the best interest of the long term of football. But with that being said, we'll throw it to break here. That's about all I got on college football. Unless, Morning, you got anything else to add here?
That was it.
Yeah, different times. We'll talk about college basketball next. Nebraska basketball, maybe the same times as always. Hopefully not. They got a chance for Indiana to hopefully turn things around. We'll talk about that last. Don't go anywhere. Don't Punt Hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arts. Talk to you on the other side.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's child care tax credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy, so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1003769, $395 per month lease for 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 to assigning, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See for details.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA fighters on Saturday, December 7th with Violence Fight League 2 at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now is the perfect time to go, with Nebraska football in between the regular season and a bowl game. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CRF-R motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CRF trail bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CRF 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
Wrapping things up here, Don't Punt Hour with DeMornay Pierson-El. Only got a little bit of time here left, so without further ado, we'll dive into it. Husker basketball, they do got Indiana coming up here. Obviously, their last game was not great. Got the Michigan State just beat the brakes off of that Husker basketball team. It was one of those games where the first half was not great, and you're hoping for a second half resurgence, and it was worse. It was worse than the first half. And you tip your cap to Michigan State because last year was really disappointing for him. But man, that's Izzo for you. He's going to find ways. He might have he might have a bad year, but he's a good coach. And I'm not surprised to see Michigan State just turn around like nothing happened from last year. But they did get the brakes beat off them. But that's what an elite team looks like. Michigan State this year is elite. I mean, they beat UConn, number 2 UConn. I think their only loss was to UNC, or you can flip them. But either way, Michigan State, very good team. They're clearly capable of beating the best teams. Nebraska, a good team. Showed in that Michigan State game where they're at, though, compared to the elites. Indiana, a good program. Let's see. I think right now, I don't think they're sitting with any losses.
It's going to be another good test.
It will be.
They're one of those, that they're going to have good teams. They're going to recruit. They're going to have athletes, and the athletes are going to be similar to what you see in the SEC. That's just what it's going to be. They're high velocity, up and down the court, aggressive. That's what you're getting yourself into. So it's good practice, and it's good to see that early on. You can kind of put that back in your memory bank for hopefully another tournament bid.
Yep, and the 2 losses for India. So they do have a couple of them. To pretty decent programs though. Louisville, 89-61, got blown out, and then Gonzaga, 89-73, number 8, Zags. But other than that, they've been taking care of business. It's just, it's Big Ten basketball. When you get to Big Ten basketball, like if you don't show up, you're going to lose. If you don't rebound, you're going to lose. If you're turning the ball over willy-nilly, you're going to lose. Now make it free. Like when you get to this level of basketball, it's always the small things that add up.
That's what anything on the collegiate or pro level.
Yeah.
Like the big things, will do that stuff. You'll have those, games, those moments and whatnot. But if you don't take care of the consistent stuff on the day-to-day stuff, if you're not handling, small things, dribble handoffs, you turning it over, not hitting your free throws, things are getting cold, that can change the outcome of the game to, maybe y'all just playing bad right now to y'all playing ugly.
Yeah. And we've seen those too. Unfortunately, years for Nebraska. It's a good thing it's not a problem this year, but the free throws. Like it is a gut-wrenching way to lose the games when you can't make free throws, because when the game stops and everyone looks at you and everyone looks at this team that can't make free throws to win a damn ball game. Nebraska doesn't have the problem this year. The problem they do have, though, is still turnovers. Part of it's that Fred Hoiberg offense. It's not the Warriors offense, but when you have an offense that just likes to free flow, lots of back screen cuts, just kind of constantly moving, constantly 5-man out, it's great, but you have to have great team chemistry, because the Warriors always lead the NBA, or if not top 3 in turnovers, because it's just
They can make up for it and everything like that. And so
when you have 3-point shooting like that,
for sure,
you can make up for it. But
Exactly.
Does Nebraska have that?
No, not at the no.
Unless Connor Seaton's on that night, you don't have it,
and that's not consistent enough.
No,
so you can't, you can't put that. You can't lay your head on that. I mean, you understand what you're doing with that type of offense. You understand certain things or whatnot. So maybe try harder or have safer plays in there to kind of minimize that and everything like that.
That's just one for me. I think you just got to get the guys to play ball together more.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make them really, and hopefully you did a good job on the recruiting part. But if you want to run that offense, the only thing that fixes that is the lead team chemistry. And you did see that with the Warriors. The turnovers were bad, but as they got to the playoffs, it started cleaning up more and more and more.
You didn't see it as much.
And early in the season, that's always a lot because, it's throwing a Jordan Poole, throwing a new player that they're trying to fit in the mix there. And when you have such a, fast-moving offense like that, and your job is just to find Steph Curry, he's running all over the court the entire time, you're going to end up with some turnovers just by kind of getting caught there staring, maybe trying to force some backdoor cuts. For Nebraska, though, you don't quite have that elite offense to where even with the Warriors, especially during that golden stretch there, their offense was so potent that even if they had 14 plus turnovers that game,
they're still outscoring you.
Yeah. that year where they had that incredible regular season record.
73 and
only a few losses.
73 and 9 or whatever.
Yeah, but either way, turnover, they actually still turned the ball over quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the offense was just insane. And the defense was really good too. So despite turning the ball over, they were good at getting back on defense. And I think people lose that with the Warriors team. That's the other thing Nebraska can do. I don't know if they'll be clearly not as explosive as a Warriors splash team. But the defense, especially in the Big Ten, I think their defense is going to be their bread and butter. If they want to play that style ball, you got to have really good defense because I'm going to suspect more turnovers are probably going to be on the way. Good morning, Pierson-El. That's going to wrap it up for us. What are your final thoughts on this Husker basketball team? I'll ask you that. I still don't know where the goals are.
I like them. They're still gelling.
Yeah. It's a new team.
It's different. Even what you just said, their defense is going to be their bread and butter. That wasn't necessarily a thing last year. So the fact that, you've been able to, or people have been able to identify that, I think that is a major jump. The offense will come.
I think so too. And guys like Connor Seaton certainly helps.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you got guys like Wooster, Burke Yuktingel, you're trying to get him in the mix from Turkey. But yeah, it's a good point. I mean, if you've watched the game, you're going to see a lot of new faces. So hopefully those guys gelling will just get rid of the turnover problems so they can get a win, a much needed win versus Indiana. That's going to wrap it up for us. Don't go anywhere. Uncut with Kyle Berry up next.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift